Well, a lot of people are saying this is the best episode of The Acolyte so far. But to me, it's like if I go out and I try to rank which is the best of my dog's poo that he's like done in the last week, uh, they're all dog poo. And so I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't call it the best. The reason I think that people are relating to this one a little more is at least there's some action in it. Something's happening. It's like it was 15 minutes of lightsaber battle and then 15 minutes of attempted character development, but it still failed on every single level storytelling-wise, and I'll get into that and into why. My name's John Delarose. I'm a professional science fiction writer, and I've done way better with space wizards with laser swords than Star Wars has in recent decades. This is my saga of the Nano Templar. It's a trilogy that's on Amazon, and you'll love this trilogy. Justified, Sanctified, and Glorified, available very easily on Amazon. It is cooking right now. Great reviews. Quite unlike The Acolyte, because every review is a reader review here. This is all audience score, the 4.4 out of 5. It's not not critics going, this is an 85%, while the fans go, this sucks. Quite the opposite. So please check this out. Support our channel. It's in the description below, and I appreciate you guys for reading and or listening to the audiobooks. You guys are awesome. And do hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here. We have a wonderful science fiction community in this. So last episode is set it up with this big, bad, evil Sith guy with a terrible-looking mask that looks like it was some cheap prop. I heard a talk on this that these designers now are actually designing things to make it easier to cosplay, and that's like their actual intention with it. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it looks stupid. I mean, this is the dumbest looking Sith thing I've ever seen. Now, it just like he threw back all the Jedi in some force push, and then it just ended last episode. This is the Acolyte episode 5 review. If you guys need a exact thing, there's spoilers if you care. I don't think anybody does though. So, I mean, it's literally I already spoiled it. It's just a giant lightsaber battle for 15 minutes, which is dry, boring. A lot of just like pointless twists and flips and things like that don't exactly make sense if you're doing a fight. It's a lot like every lightsaber battle. It's like, when they did the Ahsoka ones, it's very much the same style where they're trying to distract you with a lot of stuff going on the screen, and there's no real emotion to it. But this guy's facing off against all these Jedi, and this is where like the narrative fails immediately, because instead of like really making us intrigued by this guy. Like if you look at Darth Vader, we got intrigued by him politically, we got intrigued by his morals. We got intrigued by his mysterious powers. Nothing's mysterious here. Like, we know what the Jedi powers are because it's been, established for a long, long time. So what do? They rely on one trick, which is we're going to make the power level like 10x. And when you get into that power creep sort of thing, you really don't have a good narrative for story right away. So this guy, even though the Jedi have also been established as like the most powerful things ever, they just immediately are weak and can't do anything. They get all force pushed away. This guy slaughters a whole pack of them by himself. Like, I mean, it just like logistically with the laser swords out there. I mean, one of them's going to clip him if there's like 4 of them swinging at him at a time. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But none of them do. They suddenly Jedi have become stormtroopers and can't hit the broadside of a barn. It's really maddening to watch the Jedi disregarded like this. It flies in the face of lore. It's disrespectful, and that's the problem with the Sith quote power creep. And that's what you start to see over the course of this. Like what happens in the fight doesn't feel natural. Doesn't feel like it's actually happening. Whoever can win or whatever doesn't seem to be truthful. It seems to be whatever the plot contrivance needs at the moment to keep it going, and that's exactly what the Acolyte is. Like. These characters like change motivations even all the time. If you look at just May as a character loves her sister more than anything. She's a blood bond forever. Then she's going to kill her immediately just because she won't like go through with the ceremony. Then she's out for revenge for her. Then she just betrays her master. Then she's back with her master. Then, it's like every 30 seconds the character motivations change, and like it's not consistent whatsoever. I guess it is if you look at them all as mentally ill schizophrenics, and that's what this is. But the cringiest weird thing about all of this is the Jedi are kind of the bad guys here, presented as that, and the Sith are kind of the good guys here. And I realized this once I got into the middle of the episode, because, they've been presenting that since the lesbian space witches. And then you look at this, and you realize that, like, when the guy really reveals himself, and eventually, like, his mask comes off, and it turns out he was just the Asian guy that was helping, like, with poisons and stuff like that, and suddenly he goes from, like, this quizzling, like, guy who's just following May around to he's the most badass thing that ever existed. Again, it's a character that didn't make any sense. And they telegraphed it last episode. I really thought they can't go through with this. It has to be something else. But no, it was exactly that. So big letdown in the big reveal after 5 episodes for one. But I noticed it like when he started talking with the Asian Jedi guy afterwards, that this was one giant allegory for gay people. I'm dead serious. The Sith are gay people, and they're being repressed and oppressed by the hokey religious Jedi, who are just backwards. Their ancient superstitions are stupid, and they're so bound by rules. They're just stodgy, and they suck. That is literally the message of this stupid show. I'm dead serious. I'm just like, oh, it's painful. Now, when they get into it and they start having the talk, and they just sit there and talk, and the Sith guy says, "You just don't want me to be who I am." I'm not using the exact lines, but it's something like that. You guys have all your rules, and I've embraced who I am. I'm dead. It's an identity politics play, and the Sith guy's saying it. So this is such an epic fail, because again, Leslie Headland like wants to present this message that like our minority that you just don't understand is different, and you're oppressing us, trying to hunt us down. I mean, one, gay people like control everything in Hollywood, so it doesn't make any sense. They get whatever they want. If you call them out, you get fired from your job. It's quite the opposite. So that's just a lie on the surface. Number two, like presenting it as the Sith is like a tacit admission that it is evil. It is narcissism. That is what the Sith is. The Jedi are about, if you actually look at them as heroes, which this does not present them as, but if you look at them as what they are, they're about being selfless, about having no attachments, about, they're basically monks. They're out there like doing good deeds for the sake of doing good deeds. That is what the Jedi are. They're going to give up everything, have no possessions and have no relations in order to just live a life to do good deeds. That's what it is. And the Sith are about using power for personal gain and selfishness. And I guess that's what Hollywood likes for values, right? That is all Hollywood is. They'll step on anybody for clout. Leslie Headland was Harvey Weinstein's assistant, after all. But that was 15 minutes into it. So 15 minutes of pointless lightsaber battle, which just like looks really stupid. You got all this, yay. And again, this is a good point. I guess we're back to lightsabers through the stomach being deadly again. Not in Ahsoka or Obi-Wan, but in the Acolyte. And again, there's just no consistency to the world building anymore. It doesn't matter. Here's this one where she gets stabbed not once, not twice, but 3 times through in order to make it look pretty stupid. And this is the big reveal that he is in fact Sith. He calls himself Sith, and they as much as the shills out there were like, hey, we're not going to. Maybe it's not actually a Sith. Maybe it's not. It actually is 100%. And so they actually did reveal that in this episode. So he kills pretty much everybody. And then there's a point where like the Asian Jedi is like able to kill him, and he just doesn't. And so then like he just gets back. Of course, he gets right back into the fight and holds people hostage again right after that. Again, the morals of like these heroes, like quote in SJW fiction, the only moral they ever have these days is do not kill, regardless. And when you're in that kind of fight, he should have just offed him, because that became a big thing. and then he gets eaten up for it. So again, a plot contrivance to have that sort of thing be a standout thing makes the Jedi just stupid and makes them fail just so the plot can continue. Now, Osha is the black lady who's smarter than everybody else, so she tags a light onto him, which attracts these monsters that they established in the last episode. And then he gets pulled up into the air with them, and they all start to eat him, and they're all so scary and deadly. And it looks like he's gotten killed. He eventually just shows right back up, and he had no problem with it. So again, just the power level creep is crazy because the Jedi can't do that. And then it gets into further stupidity. Really crazy stupidity, and we're already at pretty crazy stupidity. So, Osha and May are the Jedi's knocked out at this point. Osha and May have their own kind of confrontation fight, and what happens at this point is May knocks out Osha, and then she goes through and does this. Wow. Cool. Cuts her hair off. It's so stupid. And so she decides to replace, body swap. And I knew this was going to come too. I'm like, oh, the twins are going to swap at some point. Pretty obvious plot point. Also stupid plot point as she goes onto the ship with the Jedi and pretends to be Osha while Osha's left there on the planet and I guess and gets picked up by the Sith at the end. Now, instead of having some sort of resolution or whatever, the Sith guy just starts talking to himself over the Osha who he thinks is May, and for some reason these Jedi who can sense things and Sith who are mega powerful, nobody can sense there's any difference at all. They've established there's the tracker that there was the they is on the ship and he kind of smells something different. For some reason, the lightsaber, I guess, will cut her hair perfectly like this with one swoop, which also makes no sense because, there's bang differences. It's there's going to be, it's a big plot contrivance again that doesn't make any sense. And then it just ends. And it's it felt like it was in the middle of an episode, but they needed to end the episode for the runtime. And so it just ends. And that's that. And so they just swapped places. Killed all the Jedi except for the Asian guy, and after, by the way, they both dropped lightsabers at one point and then did a fist fight too, which just didn't feel right for Star Wars. The black guy Jedi got his head snapped rather than have a lightsaber death, and so it was just a really poorly done 15-minute lightsaber battle. They attempted to make some Sith commentary about the Sith being gay people. Then they did a bunch of plot contrivances where they were trying to develop the characters of May and Osha, but actually didn't, and they just swapped bodies because that feels pretty fan fictiony, and then they ended it. So this was a big cluster. That's really what it is. And oh well, I do not think this is the best episode just because there were some lightsaber battles. I think it was crap. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out Justified Saga of the Nano Templar on Amazon. We'll be back soon.